Hello and welcome. You have tuned in to the Foreign Film Frequency, a podcast about what English speakers tend to call foreign language films or international films, and what the rest of the world simply call films. My name is Nikolai, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host Nicolas, and together we travel the world through cinema with the goal of watching a movie from every country in the world and bring you, the listener, our thoughts along the way. For each episode, we pick one movie to watch, discuss, and rate. And before we end, we'll let you know what movies we'll be watching next so that you, the listener, can join us in this journey from home. Now sit back, relax, and cue the subtitles. Nikolai, what is your take on the true crime genre?
I think it's a fascinating genre, but not one that I'm particularly fond of.
How come?
Because there's this trend going on right now. For instance, just to mention my wife, who I love very, very much.
You have to say on recording?
Yes. Shout out. She really likes watching true crime, but hates dealing with the consequences. So she's watching something that freaks her out, and then she can't sleep. And, I need to be home at a certain time, and she's not feeling safe in the house that we mortgaged ourselves up to the ears for, having to purchase additional security, alarms, yada yada. I mean, there's something interesting in it, kind of seeing the most vile aspects of humanity, but at the same time, I think there's a glorification and kind of a sense of being a part of it that I dislike.
So your main issue with people suffering and the real stories of that is that it hurts your wallet.
Yes. No, it's.
It keeps your wife up at night.
Yes. No, but I think there's something a bit perverse about
No, I completely agree. There is something
eating popcorn.
Yeah, and it's both in podcasts and in movies and everything. Documentary series. I mean, Netflix is spitting out another true crime something all the time now, and it's really not considering the victims and victims' relatives and so on, and whoever was affected by it. So I get it. I mean, it's fascinating, but at the same time, it's also it's an how can you say it? It's an interesting form of entertainment.
So just to follow up on your point, you mentioned Netflix and true crime and stuff like that. And now it's inspired by true crime, but there's the Ed Gein story starring Charlie Hunnam.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, but the guy from Sons of Anarchy, the main character, yeah. And he's been really praised for kind of embodying this psychopathic rapist killer. And I watched an interview with him where he was leaving that persona, so he went out to Ed's grave, and kind of had a conversation with him to get closure.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, kind of.
It's a little bit weird.
Thankfully, kind of thing. It's just, what the hell is going on?
I mean, it's funny what you're saying, because today I think it's very much a movie about embodying a serial killer and how well you do that. Because, of course, the reason why we're talking about true crime and all this is because it's closely linked to the movie that we have watched here for what is our first episode of this new podcast. So maybe before we get to that, maybe we should just quickly mention what this is all about.
All right, so once we're past all the serial killer talk here, the overall point of this podcast is basically to watch movies, films from every country in the world.
Yeah, and if you're wondering about the accents, we're both based in Denmark. But if ever there was a topic that maybe fit with accents, it's a podcast about foreign language films, isn't it?
Definitely. I think we actually, this plays into our credibility. Yes, so every episode we talk about one movie, what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we rate them. And at the end of the episode, we'll let you know what we'll be watching next, so hopefully you can watch along with us from home and partake in the discussions. And what movie did we watch for our first episode, Nikolai?
Yeah, so So the first country we'll be visiting is Belgium. And for the first movie, we are watching the cult 1992 black comedy crime slasher mockumentary Man Bites Dog, written, produced, and directed by Rémy Belvaux, André, Bonzel, and Benoît Poelvoorde. I hope I got that right, but I probably didn't. I am not a French speaker.
It was beautiful.
And staring all of the above. So, and we thought, because it's a movie about, well, this is a podcast about movies away from Hollywood that many of you might not know, that would be interesting and fun to see what kind of more well-known movies came out around the same time. So each time we'll try to pick 3 movies that came out sort of around the same time. And Nicolas, take it away.
Yeah. So Man Bites Dog premiered at Cannes in May of 92. It actually won the International Critics Prize that year, which is really impressive, but we'll get into that. So let's just have a look at a few other more famous mainstream movies to come out in that month. We had Alien 3, the third installment of the Alien franchise, directed by David Fincher. We had Abel Ferreira's Bad Lieutenant, starring Harvey Keitel. Another really violent movie that Man Bites Dog is actually sometimes compared to.
You said you've seen it, and I haven't seen Bad Lieutenant. You said it's not really comparable, but...
I mean, it is violent, but that's about it.
Okay.
It's not as diabolical at all. And keeping up with the franchises, there was also Lethal Weapons 3, starring Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, and none other than the special ambassador to troubled Hollywood, Mel Gibson.
Yes, who else? So, yeah, you've seen Bad Lieutenant before, and have you seen the other movies?
I have, and if I had to choose one to compare with, it would be Lethal Weapon.
Both starring psychopaths.
Exactly. They're not even acting.
Yeah. So, is there any movie of these 3 that you would rather watch than this one?
No, actually, no.
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 I've seen Lethal Weapon, I've seen Alien. I haven't seen Bad Lieutenant, but I'd watch this again almost immediately. But we'll get into that later on. But I really think it's a great movie. So let's also start by reading the IMDb log line for this movie. It says, a film crew follows a ruthless thief and heartless killer as he goes about his daily routine. But complications set in when the film crew lose their objectivity and begin lending a hand. Now, how do you think that sums up the movie?
Pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very much a movie about these boundaries being broken down, and I think it's very much about media complacency in crimes. How we show there's definitely a line from this movie to something like Natural Born Killers, written by Quentin Tarantino, who saw this movie as well at Cannes when it premiered. And I think it's very much how the media almost makes murderers, violent criminals into celebrities in a way. So I think it sums it up quite well.
Yeah, and how dependent the media are of those very people.
Definitely economically and in every way that
to stay in business.
Which is again back to the whole discussion of true crime and whether or not it's ethical or not to earn a lot of money as a media production company on other people's misery. But now let's dig into the movie itself. And if you haven't already watched it and don't want any spoilers, this is probably where you should pause the episode and watch it. But consider yourself warned. And we should also mention that this episode will include discussions of sexual assault. Just warning you ahead of time for that one.
And murder and racism.
And every other thing. This is not a movie for the faint of heart.
Definitely not.
We're thrown into it in the middle of everything, and it basically just follows a young man who's a serial killer. There is pretty much no other premise to it. You follow a camera crew of a director, a cameraman, and a sound man that follows a serial killer around what I assume, although it's not really stated, is Brussels, as he carries out his murders and other things, as we will get into. And also how they, as a representative, I think, of the media become more and more complacent in his crimes and take part in them. There's a general feeling throughout that they are also dependent on him continuing his killing because they want to make a movie. And at times, I don't know if you've heard, there was something that popped up a few weeks ago on Instagram with the time that the BBC Nature crew broke the something rule of documentary making when they saved some penguins that was stuck in a hole.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's this thing about, if you're a documentary crew, you cannot interfere. These people do not adhere to this rule in the slightest.
They do not.
The movie starts pretty much in the middle of everything, as I said. There's no backstory. We see a man and a woman in a moving train, and then the woman passes the man, and the man attacks her and strangles her in like a train cabin. And the camera is shoved into her panic-stricken face, and then it all goes black. And then we have the title. It's very violent, very gruesome, super disturbing.
Yes, and my first thought was when I watched that scene, it was, all right, so this is as bad as it's going to get. I thought it kind of started for the shock effect, which is ridiculous. It does not slow down at all.
No, not at all. There are a few scenes with some family members which are not exactly violent, but they're still kind of disturbing because they're put next to everything else that's happening. But I also think now we're talking about how gruesome it is, but it is also undeniably funny. Almost from the beginning, because the next scene after we see a woman get murdered in a train, we see Ben, the serial killer, which we then find out is the man that killed her in the train, that he's wrapping up what I assume is the woman's body next to a river,
yes.
in a white sheet, and trying to explain. And I'm laughing, and it's not exactly like the topic is funny, but the way it's done is kind of funny because he's explaining how much weight it takes for a body to sink.
Yes.
And do you remember what it is he's saying? How much weight for an adult?
For an adult, it was 3 times
Yes.
the weight, I think.
And for children?
For children, it was 4 times. And
Yes.
why was it 4 times?
I don't think he goes into why it's 4 times for children, but he says that it's 2 times for little people because they have denser bones,
Yes.
and 5 times for old people because they have more porous bones.
Yes, children were also porous, but not quite as porous as the old.
No,
But yeah.
exactly.
You get the impression that this is some sort of, serial killer mastermind. Once he's done explaining all of this, he walks over to the train tracks, which are over a bridge, and throws the corpse over, and it either lands in the shallows or
it floats
simply floats.
immediately.
But that's kind of, that was a very Curb Your Enthusiasm kind of moment. Him looking disappointedly.
I love the way, because immediately
Yeah.
the body lands in the water and floats, lies on top after his long speech about his expertise and how much weight you need. And the camera just goes up and you see him just look at the camera and it cuts to the next scene. It's a very funny scene. And I think it really sets the mood for the rest of the movie, because it is this intercut between extremely violent scenes, and I don't even have a number of how many people we see get killed, because there are these
the cutscenes.
There are cutscenes that
Yeah.
just bang, 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 and you see people falling here and there and here and there. And then in between, we get these longer sequences where we get to know Ben.
Yeah.
And how would you characterize Ben?
The man is a narcissist and an idiot. in my opinion, he really tries hard to come off as an intellectual.
It was very easy for me to play this kind of personality character, because I am very expensive, and I am very I have a big ego. It's not difficult for me to speak in front of camera. I like that.
But he brings nothing of substance in anything that he says. I mean, all of his points are like, we all have that one friend, or I do at least, or had, who reads a lot of articles, but kind of reads the intro of the articles and can drop 2 lines about it, but never goes into the subject.
Because it really doesn't go anywhere. He just keeps talking about. There's this scene where he's in an apartment complex and he talks about the red bricks and the architecture, and that is something. And by the time he's done, you just realize he said nothing.
Yes.
He said absolutely nothing. But he clearly sees himself as some kind of profound philosopher.
Avant-garde, philosopher.
We also see him go around with his girlfriend to art exhibitions and play music. He plays the piano while he plays. Or does he?
Yeah, he plays the piano and corrects her tone.
And corrects her tone, yes. So he clearly sees himself as this cultured man. And at the same time, I mean, we don't really get to know why he's a serial killer. I mean, there are scenes where he steals some money, but it doesn't seem like that is the main part of it.
So there's 2 points in what you just said. Like the first one is, no, he doesn't bring anything of substance whatsoever. And I think there are 2 scenes in the movie that really highlight this for me. One scene is when they're getting drunk at the Mussels restaurant after the old lady. We'll get to that.
But let's just say after this murder, where he gets some money, we get this really uncomfortable scene where he then. I think this is the first time where we really get to meet the camera crew in more ways than they're just sort of there. Maybe before there's a construction scene as well where they help him, but this is the one where they have some, and he asks them to go to the sea to get mussels because now he's hungry and they had a good day killing an old woman and stealing all her money, but they don't really want to go, and he gets offended, and then
he gets super offended.
And walks away, and now it doesn't matter. And then they try to ease it off, and he's no. And then the next scene, they're at a mussel restaurant because he's definitely not a man you want to be on the wrong side of.
No, and the really interesting thing in all of this is kind of they never. I mean, at least to what I remember, they never interact with him when he's showing off his, intellectual capabilities.
Not at all.
They're quiet. They're quiet like I am or I was with my father when he starts explaining some point, and like you really need to get him to get on with it, but you can't really deny it, or you don't want to argue because it's not worth it. That's kind of the general mood whenever he says something, and then he gets really offended, and they go with him to the Mussels restaurant where he launches into this poem. And I tried really hard, I thought it was a poem. It's not a poem. I couldn't find anything, and neither could my good friends at OpenAI. Right as he's coming to the grand point, he throws up and barfs everywhere, and then gets offended because the mussels were bad. He's totally saving face, and he's just, I really don't like this man.
No.
At all.
You don't like the serial killer that just keeps murdering people and talking stupidly about philosophy?
No.
Surprise.
Yes.
Surprised. Yeah.
That's right up my alley.
Anyway, after the opening, we have a scene where we introduce some of his family and friends. And I read somewhere that the interviews that they did with his family, which is actually his real family, which is his grandparents and his parents, that they didn't know what the movie was about. So you get just an interview about him as a person, and what could you say about it?
I think this is one of the scenes where I first thought this movie is brilliant, not just funny, not just disturbing, but kind of brilliant, because when they interview his mother, she gives this real true crime interview about how he was when he was a kid, always smiling, full of energy, happy. She doesn't know that he's a serial killer, but that's the way she talks about her kids. And for the followers of true crime, that scene, when they first speak to the family and they're like, oh, I was so surprised. He was such a happy boy.
Yeah, but here's a question, because do they know? Because it's so weird, like his friends, do they know or do they not? Because he's also friends with what I assume is an old prostitute that he visits, along with his girlfriend, who clearly also knows because he talks about it openly, and later on he commits a murder right in front of them and they don't really react to it, but we'll get to that. I'm just wondering, do they know? Because I'm not sure the parents and the grandparents know. It doesn't seem like it, but at the same time, it's really murky.
It is. And honestly, I don't know. After several viewings of it, I can't really, because his girlfriend is asked about his work at the art exhibition. And she says, let's not go into that. Everyone has to make a living. But like in the beginning of the movie, you get the impression that they don't know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they all seem very scared of him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
all the time. The old prostitute that you mentioned before.
I don't remember her name right now, but
no, me
yeah.
neither. No, but she moved without telling him. And when he finds her, he kind of confronts her lovingly, like, where have you been? You moved without telling me. It's like obvious that everyone is trying to get away from him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also, when they're at the art exhibition, his girlfriend looks so uncomfortable. And at the same time, when they're playing the music and he keeps correcting her, the tone. And he's clearly also like a man who wants to be in control. I mean, it's clear that everybody has had that reaction that that the camera crew also experiences when they don't want to go to the Mussels restaurant with him. But there isn't really a plot to it. It just follows him as he goes about his day. But one of the things that sort of becomes clear is that at this point about the media being compliant is really fleshed out more and more, because as we go along, he keeps dragging in the camera crew and the director, especially Rémy, to partake in his crimes. And it starts with just helping to dispose a body. They're at a construction site, and he shoots somebody, and he wants to get rid of them, and he asks one of them to carry him. And then we move on to when they enter this old person's home that we talked about before, that he uses them as a cover to get into her house to then murder her and steal her money. And they also take some of this money that he finds on his victims to fund their movie. And then from there, it really drastically increases, because then we have a home invasion where they end up catching a kid and they basically help him kill the kid. This is not a movie where anybody's safe.
Hold his legs, Rémy.
Yeah, that's what he says. Well, there's no way to get around it. Later, they also take part in a rape and murder. But overall, it's like they become financially dependent on him, both because they need to finish this movie, they need to keep, have him keep killing, and also because he funds it directly with the money from it. And I think by the end, there's this scene, because he keeps disposing his victims in a stone quarry, and then it dries out, and basically the camera crew is standing at the bottom of this quarry, knee-deep in bodies, and trying to bury them while he's standing on top yelling at them to do a better job. And it's such a perfect image of what this movie is about, that the media is standing to their knees in bodies, unburied bodies, and being yelled at by the serial killer to hurry up.
And I think, you're completely right. There are a lot of really funny things in the scenes we just went through, and I hope we can get back to some of them.
Definitely.
But to kind of stay on this point, one more instance where this movie is brilliant, according to me, is that this is shot in 1993. 92. And there was no social media at that time at all. And when I'm watching the movie in 2025, this seems like it was written to portray influencers and social media. It's like you have the serial killer, fashion blogger, fitness blogger, whatever.
Philosopher.
Inspirational
quote creator.
Podcast hosts.
Yeah.
And, they need to do this for a living, which is, I'm sure that Benoît is doing this for a living. Also because he says, I hate killing kids. Why? They're not profitable. And then he goes on to say there should really be a law against this kind of thing after he killed the kid in a poor family, but whatever. Yeah. So, you have that. And then you have the platform, which are the documentarists in this. And they're completely codependent of one another. Like the influencer can't make money without the platform, and the platform can't have users and engagement without the influencer or the content creator. I just think it fits so beautifully 30-something years after being made.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, because we're trying to, sitting here, I can't help thinking that it doesn't exactly, if you haven't seen it, it sounds horrible, but it is actually quite funny. I found a quote by a film critic, Jonathan Romney, who called it the spinal tap of serial killers.
Yes.
And I just love that, because it really is, because he is useless in a way. He talks about it like he's an expert, but at the same time, so many times that things go wrong for him, that people get away, and he has to draw in these film crew to help him in his crimes. So after we've seen the killing of the old woman in the apartment, we see him hijack a car and drive, and he shoots the driver, who then, I think it's a cab driver or something, and he runs into an abandoned factory. And it turns out he's armed, and he shoots and kills the sound guy of the camera team. And nobody really seems to care. And then the next scene we have is Rémy, the director, sitting in front of a camera and talking about that. You try to describe it.
Just, kind of describing how sad he is for this, for this great artist who just died.
Yeah.
And the artist is still in art school, I think, in these documentaries. And how he has a pregnant girlfriend called Mary Poelvoorde or whatever. And he's really sad he lost someone really dear to his heart, and the world lost a great sound man.
And they need to finish this movie
in his memory.
In his memory and all that for his unborn child. Then a little later, we see them with a new sound guy, and they're going to Ben's stash, where he stashes all the money from his crimes. And here we're introduced to this universe of serial killers that just run around and kill, because while they're talking, all of a sudden you hear shooting, and the other sound guy is killed.
The new sound guy dies.
The new sound guy is killed. And what do we see next, Nicola?
Next, we see Rémy giving a speech about how the world just lost a great sound guy.
Sounds so familiar.
How his girlfriend was pregnant.
Oh, and what was her name?
Mary something again, Poelvoorde. And
the exact same speech.
The exact same speech, and how they need to finish this movie.
Yeah, in their memory.
In their memory.
Yeah.
In this way, this movie really is the Spinal Tap of serial killer mockumentaries, because isn't it in Spinal Tap where the drummer keeps dying? They give this account of drummers they had in their band. One of them died in a bizarre gardening accident.
But
and here the sound guy keeps
dying.
Yeah.
But it's also when they hunt down this guy
the Nightingale.
The Nightingale, who shot the second sound guy. They hunt him down and shoot him, and then it turns out that he too has a camera crew following him. So in this universe, you just have every serial killer out there just have a camera crew running around trying to make documentaries about what they're doing. It's really
fleshed out. It's very fleshed out, and this is the first time his movie crew actually kill someone.
Yes,
right?
that's
Actively.
True. Yeah. I mean, there's a home invasion before where they help kill the kid, but I think Ben is still the one doing it.
He's holding the pillow. So this is...
You said casually.
I mean, there are so many murders in this movie. You need to be precise. This is the first time where Rémy is handed a gun.
Yeah.
And shoots the other director.
Yes.
And kills him.
Yeah.
In what must be some metaphor for, media competition. And I don't know if you have anything to add on that one. I just think it seems really on the nose.
Yeah, it is on the nose. But I just also find it funny that this is just sort of in this world, it's just the norm that every serial killer is sort of their sole existence is to be filmed by a crew.
Yes.
I think it's a very funny scene. I think that's the first one where I just laughed out loud, because it is so ridiculous when you see that they're standing there with the whole crew exactly mirroring, and they're standing on the opposite side of a doorway, and it's just like looking in a mirror. So there's a little bit of that as well. Next we have the Christmas scene.
Yes.
We see that the crew and Ben are at their local bar celebrating Christmas, I think it is, because there's Christmas decorations everywhere, and drinking heavily. And at this point, Ben decides to make a drink for them. What does he call it?
Since I'm not a French speaker, it's translated as Dead Baby Boy.
Dead Baby Boy. But apparently, and I don't speak French either, what he's actually saying is he's calling it a Petite Grégory, this drink. It's I can't remember what the spirit is. It's gin or something. I can't remember. Or vermouth or something. I can't remember.
What do you say? Like a tear of gin,
Yeah.
a river of tonic.
Oh yeah.
And
it's a gin and tonic.
Yeah. With,
but then with an olive tied to a sugar cube.
Yes.
And he puts it in. They all have the drink, and they all put the olive with the sugar cube in, and it sinks to the bottom. And then whoever olive is the first to flow to the top buys the next round of drinks. That's the game. But apparently this Petit Gregory is actually a reference to the real unsolved murder of a 4-year-old boy, Gregory Villemin, who was kidnapped and murdered and thrown into the River Volone in 1984. So it's a reference to a real murder. Again, playing with this, is it real, is it not? Playing with this border between what is real and what is true crime and all that, I think, even though this is...
In what was a recent murder at that time, relatively
recent. At least I think it would be something in Belgium that people would know about.
Yes.
I know the reference to. It's a famous unsolved murder. And after this, they get extremely drunk. They run into the street, and he sings the most annoying song. Do you want to sing it? Cinema, cinema.
Cinéma, cinéma, oui je sors, je suis cinéma, cinéma, cinéma.
And he just, I don't know what it is, but he keeps singing, and they all sing it.
He loves being famous. He's just
famous,
drunk on fame and success.
Then he humps a trash bag and finds a Santa beard in it, and they run around. And next we see them crash into an apartment where a man and a woman are having sexual intercourse on a table. And they just, him, the crew, everybody just
continue the
sexual intercourse in a forceful manner. And the next we see, I think the only music that is actually played over, there's a little jingle playing over the scene of the apartment afterwards, where the woman is dead, the man is dead, and completely destroyed apartment.
And dismembered.
Right? Yes. And I think this is one of the scenes that really caused this movie to be banned in a lot of places or severely restricted, because, I don't know, how do you feel about this scene?
It was a horrible scene to watch. And I have a stomach for these things. I'm not easily icked out from these things. But I really think, like, you know, the rape scene is one thing. It was horrible, but something you've kind of seen before in movies. The aftermath of the rape is just like a really powerful imagery of, you know, drunken. It's like a scene the Vikings would leave, like when you imagine them going through a village. Just,
exactly.
You know, her bowels are out. The man is, you know, slashed to pieces.
Yeah,
and they wake up on the floor like they slept.
Yeah, they slept there. That's true. Yeah,
stupor,
I forgot that. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I can see the criticism here that this is almost taking it a bit too far, because most of the other murders is either, you know, you see like a strangulation, or you just see people being shot, and that's about it. This one is the most violent one, and I can see why people would think, this may be taking it a bit too far. And I think, personally, maybe this one is taking it a bit too far. I mean, I could have done without it. Weirdly enough, it's still, because there's this little jingle on top of it, and there's also the fact that they're waking up on the floor in the aftermath of this. I mean, it's still in the same, you know, this is supposed to be sort of a comedy as well, but at the same time, it's a bit much, I would say.
It is, but could the movie do without it? Is my question.
I think it could. At least I don't think it needed to be this much. I mean, it could have been done, but at the same time, I think it's also I don't know, because I thought first I thought, okay, this is where the camera crew is now fully part of it, in a way. And I think maybe that's what they want to show with it, that now they are completely a part of it. They are as bad as him. But at the same time, later you have that scene that I described before where they're burying the bodies in the quarry. And I think that one is even perhaps a better metaphor for what they want to say.
But I think I'm not sure I stand for this point, but I'll try. One of the things that made the movie really successful was kind of the same effect that the Blair Witch Project had, where it was, like the shock effect of it, and it being banned got it so much press that everyone wanted to see it.
Sure.
And I think this scene ensured that.
The infamy in a way, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Anyway, the next big thing that happened, there are lots of small things that we can't get into because there really are a lot of small scenes here and there. But the next big thing is that his girlfriend receives a warning in the form of, I think it's a rat, isn't it? A stick. And Ben explains that it's a warning from somebody he killed.
I think it's the Nightingale's relatives.
Yeah.
Italian mob family.
Yeah, that is warning him that they're coming for him. And next we see him box, which he's terrible at, and he's knocked out and he's sent to the hospital.
Before he boxes, there's this
something I missed?
scene. No, it's just, this is the issue with the movie. Like, you could talk for 3 hours and just kind of go through it all, but I just think one more, like, weird thing about him is that he's really racist.
Oh, yeah,
in almost everything that he does.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this mother, I think she's meant to portray a Roma and her son at the boxing gym. And he got her the job, and he insists that the kid gives him a kiss, and they're both really uncomfortable about it. While he's smiling to the camera, as the white man saving the minorities.
Yeah.
Which is, again, like, it's just to stroke his ego.
Yeah. And we have it earlier that he says over there, I buried 2 Arabs, of course, facing Mecca. These small,
hilarious things,
quote unquote, hilarious things that he keeps popping in with. He clearly also, I would say, thinks that he's funny. I mean, some of these things are said in a way where he's expecting a big laugh, and it is just. The camera crew, if they laugh, it's like it's like an uncomfortable forced laugh. He's not killing it. He's constantly bombing.
Yes,
but yeah, he's
knocked out.
He's knocked out at the boxing range, and then at the boxing ring, and then he's sent to the hospital, and we see his family visits him and this and that. But then he comes home, and one of the strangest scenes, I think, because I'm not really sure who the man is. There's like a man, his girlfriend, the old prostitute, and then, of course, the camera crew. And they're all welcoming home and giving him presents. And the camera crew gives him, again, they give him a gun holster, like a shoulder holster to keep his gun. And then they bring out a cake. Yes. And I don't know. The first time I thought it was more obvious. The second time I wasn't really sure. But is this man? He's flirting or something with the girlfriend, or what is he doing? Or is he just being annoying? Because I was not really sure.
He's the only one at the birthday party who isn't
scared
behaving
of it.
scared and impressed or kind of respectful of his aura. Everyone else is nodding, smiling, looking down at the cake, smiling, just kind of keeping up appearances. Whereas this man either doesn't know what Benoît does for a living, or he simply doesn't care.
Yeah.
But I think he pokes at the inferiority complex that Benoît has, and then what happens?
Well, he pulls out the gun from his brand new holster and shoots him in the head and sprays everybody around the table with blood and brains and what else. I mean, the movie shot in black and white. I don't know if you even mentioned this, but I'm kind of glad it is because it would be extremely gross to watch. And what's everybody's reaction?
Nothing. The same as when he makes a joke.
Yeah.
They kind of look down and, smile and pretend that everything is all right. And
he just sits down and starts eating the cake.
I'm pretty sure that the cake is eaten afterwards.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
And then I think the ending, because that's what we're coming to now, is a bit rushed in a way. Because all of a sudden we find out that he's been caught. He's in prison. No, I mean, I think that before that we see him fail because he's still after this injury he's wearing like a neck brace and trying to kill a postman, because as we learned in the beginning of the movie, he likes to start the week by killing a postman because then he can strike up a conversation. Or there's also this great little scene in the beginning where he is killed the postman and taking his uniform and he's walking around on a square and there's these two small kids who are playing with like a toy gun and and he's just playing like a nice man, and he takes the gun and talks about these wonderful things they have, these wonderful toys, and then he's a brilliant actor. He's really, really good in this role, and because he just takes this and points it at the kids and shoots them, and it's so sinister. And I keep thinking, because we know that the family didn't really know that they were part of the movie. I don't think those kids are part of this movie. I think they're just random kids playing while they were making this scene, and he is killing that scene by just pointing it straight between his eyes of this kid and firing a dart at him. Without flinching. And then he just hands the gun back and sweet kids and runs.
He hands the gun back. The kid picks up the rubber bullet, shoots Benoît in the face with it. And the next cutscene is 10, 15, 20 people getting shot in the head.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is like really like his rage being unleashed.
Yeah, shown in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Just bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
And it kind of happens, once they challenge him again. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but it kind of seems to fit in.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if those kids also fell victim to him after that, even though he plays it off as being like a nice man and cute kids and all that. But but anyway, after this accident or his injury at the boxing ring, he has a neck brace and he's trying to catch people and he can't really do it. and the camera crew is even showing him back the video so you can see where he went wrong. And next we find out that he failed and he's imprisoned. And then all of a sudden, he's escaped.
Yeah, which is weird.
Which is weird. And they pick him up in a forest where he's running around. I think he's changed here. He's not the same philosopher guy. He's much more serious. I think because he knows what's happening. Because then we see him, they drive to his home and they find his girlfriend murdered, and he sort of explains that this is related to this scene earlier with the warning of the rat.
Rat with the stick in the rectum.
Yeah.
And then the girlfriend with right, she had a flute up her.
Yeah, her flute up her rectum. Yeah. And then they go to the stash again. And while they're talking, we hear gunshots and Ben is hit, I think, and the camera sort of falls to the ground. And I think we see, is it Rémy we see run away and is shot sort of in a slow motion. Falls dead, and that's the movie. It just ends right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've hinted at it along the way, but what did you think of the movie?
I think it's a brilliant movie, and I think it's completely tasteless in everything that it does, except the underlying theme, which it really neatly portrays as to how the media and the aggressor are dependent on one another, and you could almost say are collaborating.
I mean, this is the definition of a cult movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it is independent movie, low budget or a small cast, and they're all doing a brilliant job. There's so many small, like in the beginning, the scene with the floating body and all that. There's so many small ways. It's just the camera work and the angle. So when we're talking about it, it seems just gruesome, but there's so many of these small clips where you just see or where he pulls a face or something that just really plays on this balance between it being just a horrible serial killer slasher movie and a comedy. Because it is just a very dark black comedy, but it's definitely comedy. I mean, there's no doubt when you watch it that this is also supposed to be funny. And
it is hilarious. I mean, there's also, you're talking about the camera work. I think the sound work. There was one scene that really impressed me is when the first sound man gets shot in the silo factory.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Suddenly the sound disappears.
Off. Yeah.
And like you're watching it.
Yeah, and you're sort of reminded that this is supposed to be a documentary or even an unedited documentary.
Yeah, unedited, right? Because Benoît is talking to the camera. Yeah. You can't hear what he's saying, and at the same time you can hear footsteps from the other crew member walking down towards the microphone.
The microphone that's lying on a metal floor. Yeah, it's really, really interesting way they've done it there. Yeah, and I think it's just the whole movie is just really, really well constructed. We talked about the rape scene, but otherwise I think everything sort of has its place in it, and I think that slow build up of of them taking more and more part in it is really fun. And I mean, my favorite scenes are Rémy's talks to the camera after the soundman dies, because it's just so funny when you realize that it's the same speech again, because it just means nothing to him as well. I mean, they are as bad as their subject in a way. And also, you know, the scene we talked about, the other camera crew following just another serial killer. I just think it's really, really funny. So we thought, let's rate these movies. I mean, this is the first one. And then we would both try in the future to compare it not only to other movies that we're watching, but also to movies from the same country. So, Nicolas, do we do it out of 10? Do we do it out of 5? I don't think. We didn't actually discuss this beforehand.
This part should have been agreed.
This should have been agreed, but let's agree it now.
Yes.
Should we do it IMDb out of 10?
Out of 10,
is that the easiest one? Can we do halves?
Yes, but only halves.
Only
no
halves.
Decimals.
Okay.
Because I don't have the...
No second decimal.
It's like that 1.173.
Yes.
No, I would give this... and only because it's the first movie we've watched, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that I just want to leave myself room, but this is a rough benchmark.
I think 8 is good for me too. I think maybe there are a few things. I mean, there are a few scenes that could be a little short. I mean, this song, the cinema is very long before we get to the rape scene, which I also think is a little too much. But that could probably have pulled it up a little bit. But I think 8 is where I'm at as well. Then we thought for you at home to be able to watch along, because this is probably not movies that you, maybe you haven't seen them before, because they're not exactly always very famous movies, and also because they can be a little difficult to find, and you might need a little time. We thought, let's maybe agree on a few movies ahead of time, so that we'll say, okay, the next 2 or 3 movies we'll let you know each time, so you also have time to catch up and watch them.
And if you have watched these movies in advance, you need this podcast, because you might not have the biggest social circle around you, and you have someone to watch them with now.
Yes, exactly. Or just be introduced to weird movies if you're just sad. I will say, when we were trying to come up with some names for the podcast, I said, okay, well, what do we do? We back and forth. Okay, I said, all right, let's just throw it at an AI. Just say, what are some interesting names for this, for a foreign language film podcast, international film? And it kept coming up with like a movie hipster or something like that. And that hurt me a little bit.
It was a bit personal.
Yeah, it hit somewhere. Or movie snobs, something like that. Foreign film snobbery, or...
Yeah, it was not flattering at all.
No, not at all. So
that's why I'm not afraid that it will take over anytime soon.
No. Yeah. If we get a listener between this and the next episode, great success.
And the listener definitely won't be from France. I think we can already rule, that country out.
So I have a long list that I've made preparation for this of potential movies, and I don't know exactly how we should go about it. If we should, I mean, maybe in the future when we get set one listener that can then vote on a movie, we can throw some suggestions out to you. But at least for now, let's at least try and come up with a way of doing it. So it's up to you. Do you want to do? I mean, the point is that we watch from every country in the world. That we've just done Belgium. Not that we can't do another Belgian movie at another time and make a top 5 of Belgian movies at some point. But let's
branch out.
Let's branch out and do a French movie, yes, or a Dutch movie.
I'm pronouncing the names in the next French one.
Did you have French in school?
No, but
you're probably better than me, so sorry.
I can only do a better job.
Then I'll do all the
you'll do the
Serbian ones.
Yeah, the Balkan names.
The Balkan names. All right. Do you want to do other? Because I'm guessing let's do 3 more movies or something. Next, and then should we do other continents or genres, years, anything?
I think we could. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find an app where you can spin the globe.
Oh, I've done that, and I've made a. Okay, we can do that. We can do a random one.
Yeah,
random
let's do
country.
a random one. Yeah.
And I'll hit them until I have movies that I've already found movies for.
Yes.
Countries that I've already found some movies for because.
I'm rooting for the Seychelles.
Yeah, exactly. Random country number 1 is Vanuatu.
Yes, what do you have for me?
I have nothing. All right, I'm just going to spin it a few more times until I have one that I actually have
love
found.
the first country.
North Korea.
Yes.
All right, I actually have one for North Korea.
All right.
Yes, and
Let's go.
next time let's watch the 1985 Godzilla ripoff Pulgasari from North Korea. Because I have seen this movie before. When I started trying to watch a movie from every country in the world, it's interesting, and the story behind it is really interesting. So let's do that one next. And for the second one, I'm begging for just some European country right now. And the next one is Peru. I don't know if I have one from Peru, but
They gotta have something.
I have another. I know it's not Peru. We can do that one next, but we can take a neighboring country. I have one from not quite neighboring, but at least South America, Paraguay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right.
How Eurocentric of this podcast.
Yes.
We don't have. Nah, it's the same.
This is the same. In this case, for this episode, I promise we'll return to Peru in the future, but
Yes.
for not to spend like an hour trying to find a movie, I can say Paraguay, we're going to watch the movie 7 Boxes from 2012. And the last one, and I mean, we've not had one. I was really happy about Peru again. All right, come on. Give me Hungary. And I have on my list here, I have the 2003 dark alternative movie Control.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the next ones we'll do. And as I said, you can watch along. We'll, of course, repeat the next ones the next time and add another one as the third one. Otherwise, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Foreign Film Frequency. Please like, rate, and review us wherever you're listening. Please share us far and wide.